JD, the Texas A&M Aggies, great season last year. They're trying to build on that. They lose their offensive coordinator and Colin Klein. They lose a ton of guys to the NFL, leading the combine in amount of guys that got invited. Marcel Reed, we're hoping, can take another step. What do you think BetMGM set the line for the win total for the Texas A&M Aggies?
So now I'm seeing ghosts. Because I felt pretty good about it made me uneasy, but I felt like them making the playoff last year and going on the run last year would cause BetMGM in Vegas to give them a little bit of a bump. I'll go ahead and say that Vegas has A&M at 8.5.
JD, we're trending in the wrong direction now. They have them in the same ilk as a Georgia. We got Texas A&M at 9.5, which I agree with you. That's probably what I would have guessed too, especially because I've been on this hill all offseason. That schedule last season was just so favorable. And I think this season, by default, harder schedule, can't really expect the same results, but maybe Marcel Reed takes his game to another level. You never know. But 9.5 for the Texas A&M Aggies, I feel like that's a big sign of respect from the books there.
So my note here says over/under. I bet it's 8.5. I take the over. 9.5 is more fair to me. Like 9.5 is the one that's a little bit more tricky. I'm with you in terms of what happened last year. There was a lot of flying close to the sun moments for A&M, and you wonder how repeatable is that. Like you beat Arkansas, who was the best 2-win team in all of college football last year, but you beat them by a score and made that one super interesting. You squeaked past Auburn. Auburn wasn't great. You squeaked past Florida. The Florida game was close in the first half and made it a little bit more entertaining than maybe it was desired to be from A&M fans. But here's my thing with A&M, and the reason why I feel good taking the over on 8.5 and on 9.5, whatever Vegas ends up throwing at you. For clarity here, BetMGM has it at 9.5. However that number moves, I like the over. To me, the DNA with A&M, with Mike Elco now as the head coach, is the differentiator. I remember clear as day. We finished up the national title game, went back to our hotel, shot the show, and kind of did a year in review. And A&M was one of those teams we had highlighted in terms of teams that we were right on from the year before. Because preseason last year, we're saying, this A&M team is super talented. We love Marcel Reed. We think Mike Elko is about the right stuff. I think this is the year that A&M breaks through. And we got laughed at, we got pointed at, we got told we were clickbait merchants on social media. A&M's never done anything X, Y, and Z before, therefore they won't do anything this season. And then they go out and only lose one game in the regular season and make the college football playoff. If A&M had this mass exodus of staff members and had a new starting quarterback and all these things, maybe I'd feel differently. I think the DNA with Elko there, with Marcel Reed still there, with them promoting internally at the OC position, with Holman Wiggins to replace Colin Klein, I feel like that's very much so still there. Like, I feel like A&M, as a program under Mike Elko, has made lifestyle changes. And you know what I mean by this. Like, everybody has those friends that set their New Year's resolution in January, and they write it down, they maybe put it on social media, maybe they talk to you about it, and then they go forward, and you have two groups of people. One group sticks to it, and they're looking very different come month of August. The other group, come like February 1st, is eating a bag of candy, and it's like, I thought you were going to the gym. It's like, oh, yeah, I gave that up. I think A&M is in that first group where they've actually stuck to these lifestyle changes. I think they are more substance than flash, and I think the roster talent is going to consistently be there for them to be in the mix in the SEC. So the question I have is, do I get Marcel Reed being more consistent and more reliable than he was a year ago? Because he was magic last year so frequently. The problem is, as magical as he was, there was also moments where you're like, hey, Marcel Reed, let's set our feet here, babe. Make a good decision is fine with what you're doing, trying to push the football downfield. However, with your feet not being set, that throw is sailing on you. We're seeing a little bit more inaccuracy than what you're capable of. I think that him getting another year starting quarterback in a system that you would hope is staying as close to the same as possible, with Colin Klein gone to Kansas State and an internal promotion with Holman Wiggins from the wide receiver room now to the OC. I trust that they will continue to trend in the right direction. So most important game for them, it's Texas. Like, I know it's the last game of the year. I know there will be a lot around them sort of settled out across the SEC, but y'all, look at the schedule for Texas and for A&M. That could be for a college football playoff spot, quite frankly. Also, take the college football playoff part of this out of it. Just the optics around them and Mike Elko, quite frankly, against Texas, you got to get 1 in 3 tries against Sark if you're Mike Elko. Like, you have to. There's too much competition across the state when it comes to recruiting. There's too much competition when it comes to optics within the state, period, as to who's that top team in the state. And with A&M being the team that made the playoff last year and losing that game to Texas in Austin, like it's got to be a flipped script now here going on try number 3 for Elco against Sark. And the college football playoff is just the cherry on top. So I would take the over for A&M with them being an 11-win team last year. I don't have a lot I'm selling my stock on with A&M, but right now a lot of overs for your boy, Ked. I'm taking the over once again on the Aggies.
JD, if I had a hammer in this studio, I'd have it out right now to hammer this under right now. This is the first one that I actually feel like I'm going to put money on after we stop recording this. To me, the schedule last year was just too favorable, and you looked at when they played college football playoff caliber teams last year. It was the Notre Dame game, which congrats, that was a close one, a tough one. But then it was Miami, and then it was Texas in the playoff, and they lost those games. And to me, this season, when you look at their schedule, there are far more opponents that are closer to that level than the level of opponents they played throughout the year. You have Texas, as you mentioned. You have to go to Oklahoma. You have to go to Alabama. You have to go to LSU. To me, a 10-win team is only 2 losses, and there's too many spots here on this schedule. Even Arizona State in the non-conference is like not who you want to draft as far as non-conference teams to play. To me, there's just way more margin for error on this schedule, and I think they have to play a couple more big dogs. And as a result, I think losing 3 games, I don't have to squint to see that nearly as much as last season. So I respect the line. I respect that maybe they are the team now on everyone's schedule with Mike Elko that you have to be like, oh, dang, we have to play A&M. That's tough. But to me, just too many good teams that I think have playoff aspirations, too many of those teams in their house. This is the first one where I'm like, okay, I would hammer this under today, and it's probably going to happen very, very soon.